Hi, I'm Bobbie, and I just want to share with you a few of the interplay forms I'm beginning to weave into my ordinary everyday life intentionally, because they grow my soul and help me feel more present and more grounded and integrated, and they're fun and they're very helpful. So the first one I just wanted to share is easy focus. And I use easy focus a lot. I use it perhaps before I'm going to be writing anything or doing some planning or going to a difficult meeting or meeting a friend where things might be a little bit tricky. Anything where I feel there's going to, or there already is in me, and thinking about some anxiety in my body. So one of the very easy ones I do is I just whisper all my anxieties into my hands like this. I just whisper any judgments, anything I'm concerned about, any anxieties, however long they take, but I whisper them into my hand. And then I mush them around like this in my focuser. And then I just allow them to go, ooh, and just go off free out there to change the energy or to do whatever they need to do. But I just move them out from being so intense in me. And I used that one day with a group of women before we started a mosaicing course, just easy focus for that day with a very focused activity. Another way I've begun to integrate easy focus is that most mornings I try and go for a short, fast walk of about 10 minutes. Quite a focused, intense walk, a bit speedy. And I go around a field and a farm just near me, and after I've done my 10 minutes now, and my head's been really full of thoughts and very busy, I just move and I change into easy focus. And I allow my gaze to lift and to look out to the horizon with very soft and gentle eyes. And I just take in that broad beauty that I see right out into the peripheral vision as well. And sometimes I'll just do a gentle body movement that just turns me very slowly, and keeping my eyes on the horizon, I just let my gaze move softly, softly as my body turns. And I feel so generous and spacious. So it's another thing that I do in the everyday. Another way I used appreciations recently, my husband and I went to visit. It's a beautiful old home with gorgeous, gorgeous gardens just north of Oxford. And it was a beautiful sunny day, and we were sitting on a bench by a pond with some water running and eating our sandwiches. And after we finished eating, I just suggested, and he doesn't really know anything about interplay except what I rabbit on about. I just suggested that we did some side-by-side back and forth appreciations, about 5 each, for just whatever we appreciated about the day, about where we were, anything like that really. And it was a very, very life-giving thing to do together. And I find appreciations I'm doing more and more just in little moments scattered throughout the day. So that's really lovely. X-forming, I realize now that I do a little bit of X-forming every day, in terms of I do Tai Chi one day, I do senior circuits the next day, I do some yoga in the week, some swimming and walking. So these are built in as part and parcel of my day, but I'm more conscious of them now as being spiritual practices in my day as well, which is, I do more and more of those. More of my life is a spiritual practice now, rather than very set, focused things being so. So X-forming too, I use more specifically to move energy when I'm feeling very upset about something, or I have feelings of discomfort or chaos or feelings of being overwhelmed inside me. Then I use X-forming to to shift the energy, to bring what I need to know more to the fore, perhaps some insight or reflection. One of the ways I do this is just simply through dance. I'll put on some music and I will X-form in a variety of either the thrusting or the hanging or the swaying or any of those dance forms that I use. And then sometimes more specifically, for example, the other day, my husband and I had had a difficult communication, and I could just feel this chaos inside me and the unknowing and the discomfort. So I went out for a walk on my little field walk, and I did loads of X-forming. I did babbling with words I knew, and I did babbling with made up words and language. I did lots of thrusting out there, and I didn't know who was going to be coming around the next field, but I just got on with it. And it was just, it went on for a long time. And by the time I got back 15 minutes later, I could breathe more freely. I was more open, but the most important thing was I had a space to make a good choice, and I could either choose just to leave where I was at, and that felt okay, or I could choose to pick up the communication again with my husband. And so just having that freedom of choice and knowing I had it there and knowing it came out of a form, an interplay form, was just great. Babbling, sometimes I'll just come down the stairs and babble away, and suddenly I'll hear my husband babble back to me, which is very exciting. And it's just fun and silly and joyous and lighthearted. And sometimes I'll even babble to my cat, which is also good fun because he always listens. And perhaps just another couple of them. Noticing, I have noticed while I've been involved with interplay, and although this is part of other spiritual practices I have, but I have noticed that I'm doing more noticing. And noticing more in that I have choice. I've suddenly noticed the choice of the way I speak, the way I listen, how I might respond to somebody or something or a context I'm in, or respond to what's happening in the world. I just find I have greater choice and a bit more of awareness to take a pause and to take a stillness and try some things out, play with some things. And so that's been good. So much more noticing. And the last one, I think, is I can be quite task oriented, and I can start a day and have a list of shoulds and coulds and things like that I want to get done, and I can feel very excited about that, and that's good. And I can also feel quite driven about it. So it's just noticing a bit more of that. And so what I find I'm doing more now with this is clocking and checking in to my body much more, and just checking out how I'm feeling. Is it coming from a driven place? Is this something I want to play with, or is it more creative, or do I need to take a pause and just still for a bit, or do I choose to do one of these things and then I come back again to my body and just think, do I need to do this now? Is this really important now? What place in me is this coming from? So I just do a bit of checking out, and so not a biggie, but it's an incredibly helpful practice for me. So that's it for now. In all, I have found just integrating some of the interplay forms into my life on an ordinary everyday basis life-changing, more light-hearted, more fun, more spacious, more generous, and more real for me. Great. Bye.